Right then guys, so what I'm going to give you right now in this strange little video over here on WBC Extras is a selection of clips that I recorded for my latest video of Let's Build Walhampton episode 1. Now these clips were going to feature in that as they did with Hurst Castle, as you saw in that episode 0, where I jumped back and forth between time lapses and real-time sort of videos. Now what happened here was these little clips would have actually added up to nearly the entire length of the video without the time lapses in. And that is just because I had so much to talk about the planning, about the little ideas, and I was trying to do some small little skits in there as well just to make it a bit more interesting. So what I thought I would do is I would upload them here on this channel so you guys get a little look at those and I don't go to waste with all of that lovely content in there and some nice little talks about planning. So enjoy. They'll be a little bit chopped up, you probably won't be able to see, you know, the main flow between the videos, but we'll see how it goes. Let me know if you like this, because I will always be filming these little first person shots when I can, because they are quite nice just to get my thoughts into a video. Right, thanks guys, I hope you enjoy. Would you look at that, I have just missed the ferry. Now, if I wasn't me, and if I wasn't the mayor of this town, I would sue, maybe sue some people. Anyway, you're finding me here at the train station here, at the Walhampton pier end of the train line. Now this is the main line that comes all the way down from Whiteburg City, as I've mentioned in the previous section, and what you see me sitting here in is Ozzy's car. So he's got a ton of these over in our workshop on the server, and I don't know if he's made any videos on them yet, but he might do in the future. Isn't that such a stylish little car that it's just, Anyway, we're not here to look at cars, are we? We're here to look at a ferry port and some boats that are non-existent. Now you may be questioning, okay, where is the boats? And I have a confession to make. Like that Foo Fighters song, I can't build boats. Now, that probably doesn't come as a surprise to anyone because I barely build anything anyway, but bear with me, I am a builder. One day, there will be a steamliner here. As you can see on screen, I already showed you as well earlier on what my ideas are for the paddle steamer that comes through here, and it will probably sit in the bit of the channel where it isn't diagonal, because if it was all across the diagonals here, I think I would just give up. Maybe use the rotate command? Does that work? I'll have to ask Sir Lancelot about that. But anyway, so you guys are interested in seeing a bit more of this little place here. This is the little station master's house, built at such an angle that it gave me nightmares for a day or two. But I think if you stand back here a little bit, and if you gaze on in, look through the mist of the shaders, you can really get the impression that it works somewhat. But yeah, so he's got a lovely little garden here which just sits in, fills in the space in between here and the train station, which you can see on the map now. So this was all, as you saw in the time lapse, this was all reclaimed land. So it's a great spot, nice and flat, to put in some farmland and just some houses and stuff. And what better than to fill it with a lovely little garden. So I don't know if you guys follow me on Twitter or anything, but down this little path here, I built myself a small little secluded area. I mean, we can run, we can jump, we can fly, but here it is, this little landing stage. Now I was going to put more of these around the place, but I thought to myself, there's already a main pier there, we don't need tons, but these are sort of more private ones where you just pull up in a little boat, sit here and then just stand on. Maybe even do some fishing off of. This one isn't really that far out into sea. Maybe I could have done it a bit further. I honestly think I should have done it a lot further, but still. What I do like about this the most as well is when you look over to the trees like that because you knock your mouse. No, it's when you look here and you can see all of these telegraph poles, because this is what's coming in now at the point of recording this video, where we are in Edwardian Whiteburg. That's a weird thing to say, isn't it? But we are, and this is the modern land. It's not Victorian as such, but we've got telegraph poles everywhere. So there's my little ramblings about the station, and we probably haven't even seen much of the station. I've just been showing you all around the area here. The little signal box was quite an interesting one to do. I'm not 100% sure I'm happy with it. So what I've done in my headcanon is I've made it so this is used for ferry watching as well. So you come up into here, go into this little door, and you can see all the trains coming down from from Walhampton main station, but you can also see when the ferries are turned up and when one's coming in. And so you can look out this window here, gaze into the abyss and see when the boats are turning up, and tell those guys down here, go walk out here, hey, boat in, boat, and then someone goes, yeah, those are the noises they make here on the ferry line. But still, while I sit down here and wait for my ferry to turn up and maybe have a look through these barrels, Might just place some stuff in here, be a little bit mischievous. While I wait for them to turn up, I think it's time for us to start building the rest of the railway line up into the quayside while I try and decide on what to fill the quay with, because I am so behind on building this, but it's great fun. So let me just show you a quick little look at this map again. I'm all the way down here at the pier, and what we're going to do now is carry on the line so it goes up the edge of the river, past all of this mud flat area, and terminates around about here, because in episode 2 we'll be building Walhampton Town Station and the area around that, so do not worry about it, we will get to the train station. The area I'm interested in today is what you can see on screen now, these lovely angled buildings. You can just see the anger in my face, can't you? You're trying to build these again. No, I actually enjoy building diagonal and angled buildings. I really enjoy it. But yeah, so that's what's going to happen up here. We've got some. This is actually going to be the. This is going to be the custom house. I can't wait to build that. That's like the main building for the entirety of the area. It's going to look absolutely incredible. Okay then guys, let's get on with building that before I bore you to death with some maps. Let's start another time lapse. Well, would you look at that? It seems like they haven't actually cleaned my laundry very well. The red stains are still in there. It really does teach me to not eat jam while I'm laying in bed. Yeah, that's the story I'm going with. Just don't question why my sheets are red. Anyway, welcome to the Walhampton Laundry, the former Pleasure Palace is what I want to say. The former theatre / pleasure palace, which is a term not what you expect it to be, so please do not hate me in the comments for that. Now, it's this lovely Georgian building, as I mentioned in the previous section, and I really think it turned out quite well. So considering the images I had were just really bad, really poor quality, and only showed it from certain angles, such as this, and also around here at the front, I think, for what it's worth, it's a good little building, and it helps bring a bit more lore into the world, because now we have a building that was here before the railway was, and it gives you a reason why it curves up and goes around like this, and carries on all the way over to the other side of the River Limor. On to our next stage. Now, the buildings over here in question are quite complicated to build, and as you can see, I haven't started them yet. Now, I have been testing a few of these over in that direction. You might see it. No, you can't see it. Namely this one here. So this is the market hall / a custom house, and this will be the main building where once you come off the docks, oh, look at just look at that view. Ooh. That's really tasty. I'm so happy with that. Wow, that's do you know, this is the first time I've seen that view as well. So once the rest of this quay's in here, it's going to be incredible over here. Not to toot my own horn. Anyway, back to the story in hand. The custom house here is going to be built out of red brick, and it will look like the one on screen now. This is the market hall in Poole, England, and it was built around about the Georgian period, so it fits perfectly into what we're doing here at the quayside. These other little buildings here and here will be warehouses, with more working their way off down to here into what is the sort of shipbuilding yard / the area where the power station will be. Then we work our way back over here into the centre of the quay. This would be the main sort of market area where things are just bought and sold and things come off the boats and all of that. And this will be the main pub. That will be a couple of other little buildings along here, and this will lead back off up to there. Now you're probably wondering, why is he showing me that red line in the distance over there? That is the line for the high street. So you'll see this road here will connect up and round into this area up here and go off up the high street, which will be on a hill as compared to where the quayside is. Now this, to anyone that's been to Lymington, knows exactly what I'm talking about, as that is the main sort of feature of Lymington, Quay Hill up to the main high street with the church sitting on the top. So we'll get round to doing that in the later episodes. But let's take a quick look back across here, through the back of my head, through my eyes, and onto there. Really nice looking, I want to say library. It's really not a library. Every time I was building it, I kept saying to myself, that's a nice library. It's not a library. One final thing before we jump off to start building on the other side of the quay, I want to show you this. So after I built it in the video, I suddenly thought to myself, oh, you can't get to it. You can no longer get to it at high tide. So what I've done in the lore is I've destroyed it. It's gone. Now this is gone because they're no longer using this place for what it was intended, as in the ferry to cross here to take people into the theatre, into the gentleman's club. Not like that. Stop thinking in modern terms. And now it's just gone because no one uses it anymore. They either drive around there or they just go to the laundrettes because no one needs to go there. So that's why it's sort of ruined like this, and it's a nice little feature. I thought that worked in there quite nicely. Right, well, let's leave the laundrette alone and my very, very dirty sheets and start building it over there in the quayside. Right, let's jump into the sky. Well, don't mind me, I'm just coming out of the Ship Inn, the first pub in Walhampton, sitting here down here on the quayside. Let's keep walking because I haven't paid my bar tab. No, not at all. So these 3 buildings are now in place. They were probably some of the hardest buildings I've built recently, mainly due to the fact they are on a diagonal, but not even diagonal, on several different angles. So we got 3 blocks by 3 blocks and then all the way across there carrying on. And what's really hard is just getting the windows to work, because as you guys know, I like to do my windows 2 wide, then maybe 3 high. These ones here are a bit more 2 by 2 because they're a bit squarer in the original reference image. But as you can see, this townhouse here was the kind of defining point of what I wanted to do. Now, without spoiling too much of the magic, it's not symmetrical because I didn't want to do 3 block wide windows. In the time lapse you actually probably saw I was doing some 3 block wide windows there, and they did look a bit big, a bit bulky. But no, this is great because now I've actually got a scale set up and ready to go for the rest of this area. And that was my main concern with building this whole town at different angles, and also just building this town in general. The area here I thought I planned out was too large, but having these 3 buildings in, it's clear it's not, and it's going to look great once we get the buildings along that back wall there and the custom house in, which is going to be the largest building down in this part of town. So as you can see, I have done a lot more planning since we last met in the other previous clip, and what's going on over here is the boatyard / industrial area, and that's why it's gone for this muddy feel across the ground there. So this is where they're going to be building the boats and just sort of fixing them up, a bit of maintenance on them and such. Then round here is going to be the power station if we get round to building that in this episode. If not, it'll be built in episode 8. Yeah, I've already planned out which areas I'm doing when, so I've kind of got backup if I forget to build some places, luckily. Yeah, that's why it's great to have a little plan in place. And then, as you can see there, it's such a prominent building, that one there on the end, and that is why it's the first pub in Walhampton, the Ship Inn, looking nice with its acacia logs, acacia stairs on there on the roof. Now, the reason I brought you all the way down here before we go back over that way is because I'm just saying I'm going to carry on building this road all the way along here to another pub, the King William IV, and I'm going to carry on down Quay Street here, put in a couple more pubs. You've got the Alarm on the corner there, the Solent there, this one's going to be the Saltern, so this is all pubs. Hey, what do you expect from an English town in the early 20th century? Then you saw over here the jetty that we built at the end of the railway line, and what's going on here is this is where my sort of connection happens with episode 2. So carrying on up here into part 2, this is where the train station will be, so you can see it's a nice little cut-off area, and we'll work our way back from that way up to here to finish off the episode, building in some warehouses there and some more townhouses and shops up Quay Hill into the junction with the High Street, Captain's Row and South Street. So guys, I cannot wait to get that all going, but I think we should probably jump back over there and carry on building some more of those buildings before we finish up today. Well, obviously we've got a lot more to do, so let's jump into the sky and start doing that. Okay, so you're finding me here on the junction of Quay Street and Nelson's Place, which is this road that runs up behind me here. Now, I wanted to come into game and show you guys what this place is looking like as a quick little update again, but this time without any shaders on, because I thought, why not actually see what this looks like when I build it? Because yeah, I don't actually build in shaders. I don't think anyone builds in shaders at all. I think it's impossible to do, but it makes it look so much more cinematic when we show it off in the video. Now, what we got going on here is the buildings we built before. This section's all lovely and done now. We then have the custom house, which is sitting here looking all nice and grand. Now, round the side of the custom house we have this lovely big warehouse, and this warehouse is part of the main section here, which is also included with this quayside section. So this is like a bonded area, so people can't use this unless they're coming in for official business, and it all gets teleported. It all gets transported through this area officially. Now, what I did was built some eclectic buildings here behind me and a boat. I mean, don't look at this boat, but also look at this boat. That's my attempt at building a diagonal barge full of bricks to come and offload here at the quayside. It's It's an interesting one, but yeah, it's probably the worst one I've built so far. I mean, Goblin did a great job over there. That one's beautiful. But yeah, so we've got this lovely old warehouse here. I've tried to make it look like it's got a cobblestone sort of feel to it, where it's been medieval built at some point and then replastered and rebuilt over the many years. Inside there, it's storing some bricks. Over this side here we have a couple more random eclectic warehouses that are just storing up more stuff. Now you may have spied these lovely towers over here, and that's the power station which we've just shown off in the last section of the video. Now we've got some coal here on the docks waiting to be transported up into the big room itself, and if you look inside you can actually see I've built something in there. It's kind of meant to be the generator, and then some boilers at the back and the furnaces here, so it kind of works, but the whole thing looks a bit of a mess from inside and out, so let's get out of there. But what I wanted to do was bring you guys into game just quickly to then say what we're doing next. So the next area to carry on building is over here, which will be the shipyard. We're going to have a couple of little sort of dry dock areas, not really dry docks, but sort of slipways where boats are built and then pushed out into the sea, well, into the river. Probably a row of little small workers' cottages, a building at the back, I'm not sure what that's going to be yet, and a larger storehouse here, probably more akin to another warehouse. Then that is the hard boundary over there for a later episode, I think episode 8 for Bath Road, and also so's that edge of the road there, so we aren't building anything beyond that road. And then, as I mentioned before, we're going to crack on with some buildings down that hill and round that corner back up towards the train station. So there we go, a quick little update, and also to show you guys it in shaders. Let's jump back into the sky and start building that lovely shipyard there. Right, well I hope you found some interesting little tidbits in there just to go about how I think about things, and also just to see how the video could have gone if I included these little clips as well. So like I said, I will probably put one of these up again later in the month when I do my episode 2, as it's quite nice as a way to just sort of have a little mind dump and to give you guys some ideas. So thank you all for watching, get inspired, get building, and I'll see you next time.